Hi guys, it's time for my third Q&A. Hi guys, time for the third Q&A, aka the video that you guys don't really care about. What am I gonna do? I do Q&As because they're kind of easy, and they're also I think I like getting the chance to just kind of sit and talk for a little bit. And hi guys, time for the third. Hi guys, before we get started with the Q&A, I have a couple of things to announce. First of all, Remembering Don Handel is being worked on. I'm going to be able to, I think I'll finish it tomorrow probably. If I don't finish it tomorrow, then it will be out on Monday. Okay? I do have homework this weekend. That's the only real thing that's going to get in the way. So I've been working on it. I just need to finish it. And that might happen Monday, if at the very latest. Okay? So just to let you guys know. Also, remarkably quickly, I've gotten the Boss Rheneas lines for Misty Island Rifftrains 4. And I know some of you may think that, because it's, some people are of the opinion that the first person to do something is always the best. How, there's a number of people who think that Ringo Starr is the single greatest Thomas narrator of all time, simply because he was the one who was doing it first. And I'm not saying people are wrong to think that, but, I personally am a big George Carlin fan, but, I'm getting off topic. The reason I bring this up is the guy who's doing the Boss Rheneas voice, and congrats, some of you have figured it out. You'll know for sure in a couple weeks. But let me just say this: if any of you are members of SIF, then you will know this guy's work inside and out. Who's doing the Boss Rheneas voice? You guys are in for a treat, because this is I listened to all these Boss Rheneas lines, and they are awesome. I mean, there's it's witty retort. There's awesome improvisation. The segment's probably going to be around 5 to 8 minutes long, just because A, it's a little longer than a usual Don Handel segment, and B, just there's so much great improv in there that I want to use. So then the thing I was going on about with the first is best mentality is don't go into this with that opinion. I mean, if you like the voice I did for Boss Rheneas, that's fine. But coming from me, the current voice for Boss Rheneas is 10 times better than I was. More than 10 times better. My voice for Boss Rheneas was crap, okay? And it would have been a really boring segment if I was doing that voice. So, you have a lot to look forward to with this one. I really think you guys are going to love it. Alright, so this time with questions. I'm living off campus, so I haven't had I don't have a printer. So I have the questions open in a Word document, so I may be reaching over and doing this sometimes throughout the video. This is going to be shorter than the past Q&As because I didn't get as many questions, which is fine. But, you guys don't have to sit and listen to me talk for as long, so hey, win-win. So let's get right started then. First off, we have a question from SIF. What is your superhero identity? My superhero identity is the procrastinator who doesn't get things done until months after he said he would get them done. The less said about that, the better. Although, truth be told, it wasn't procrastinating for me that entire time. It was mainly, I've detailed this in that update video I made a couple weeks back, but it was mainly factors beyond my control that have prevented me from getting this stuff done. So, the procrastinator, but not entirely procrastinating, if that makes any sense. Alright, okay, I just copied over all the comments on the video into here, so I'm going to get some that probably aren't questions. I see the song. By the way, you should probably credit... yes, Unknown Thomas Fan 1 is who I got the Misty Island... Or not Misty Island. Day of the Diesels footage from. And I didn't ask for permission. I am sorry. I wanted to get it out there right away, and I didn't want to waste time asking for permission. Besides which, it's Hit Entertainment's video, really. If anyone should be asked for permission, it's them. And you know they're not going to give it. So, okay, who tried to kill... No, wait, do you watch Atop the Fourth Wall, and what is your opinion of Day of the Diesels since its release? I watch Atop the Fourth Wall occasionally. I used to watch it like every week. Two things drove me away. First, Linkara's determination to stick this weird storyline in there, which it was fine when it was, like, just little things early on in the video, but, I mean, I left early in the Vice arc, because I was just getting sick of it. Or rather, let me clarify. I went to Europe for a little bit, for a semester abroad program, and and the internet connection I had there was really terrible. So as a result, I couldn't watch That Guy with the Glasses type videos because of the time it took to buffer the videos. So I didn't watch Atop the Fourth Wall during all of that time, and I just, when I got to the point where I could watch it again, I saw that the storyline had like completely taken over the show, and it just wasn't really for me. I mean, I've heard that he's toning the storyline down in the videos, but I'm not really going to go back to it now. Mainly because I don't really watch anything on That Guy with the Glasses that much anymore. I watch the occasional movie review, and the Cinema Snob is still my favorite, but it's just not really as much my thing anymore. And the other thing that drove me away from Atop the Fourth Wall is, if any of you guys have frequented TV tropes, there seems to be a prevalent belief there that if Linkara says something, then it is fact, and that no one is ever allowed to criticize it. You'll notice, if you look at the various comic book-related pages on TV tropes, Linkara provides page quotes for almost every single one. Or, that's an exaggeration, I know, but for a lot of them. And you kind of just you start to get sick of the guy, which is what kind of started to happen with me. No offense, Linkara, but it also ties into my kind of dissatisfaction with the belief that if a reviewer says something, then it is fact. Because, I mean, I don't think you guys should be taking what I say as fact. I mean, I don't for 1 minute consider myself a reviewer, but I still think that have your own opinions, is what I'm trying to say. And what did I think of Day of the Diesel since its release? It wasn't as bad as Misty Island Rescue. However, having burning spikes driven into your feet is about as bad as Misty Island Rescue was. So it's Day of the Diesels was better than having burning spikes driven into your feet. I don't know. It wasn't great. It was kind of par for the course with what we've come to expect from Hidden Entertainment, especially in recent years. And Diesel 10's voice actor was miscast. Because it's not that he didn't sound evil, it's just he sounded far too over-the-top evil, and there wasn't really anything to back up the hype aside from the claw. And, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. What's next? Who tried to kill you with a forklift and why? It was Rocky who tried to kill me with a forklift. And for those of you who didn't understand the forklift joke in the last question-asking video, the story there is there was an episode of MST3K, Mystery Science Theater 3000, called, Fugitive Alien, in which the music had some very distinct little background music themes. The one was like, doo, 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 that was ridiculous. I'm not going to do that again. But these little background themes that were played throughout it, and during one of the scenes where that particular theme that I played in the video was played, a character tries to run another character over run him down with a forklift. The character named Rocky is attacking a character named Ken with a forklift. So the MST3K guys start to sing along to the background music, and they sing this little, "This is the song written for the train chase. This is the chase, Rocky and Ken. He tried to kill me with a forklift. Olé!" So that's what that's from. That became a running joke throughout that episode and the next one, which was the sequel to Fugitive Alien, Star Force Fugitive Alien 2, in which the theme was played roughly 12 times, and Tom Servo sings along every single time. But that's the deal with the forklift gag. What else we got? Why did they mess up Skarloey's personalities as well as the other characters like Edward or Diesel 10? Why? Because Hit Entertainment has been laboring under the delusion for a long time now that their viewers are complete morons. I mean, yes, their viewers are children, for the most part. That is very true. However, kids aren't simpering idiots. They can tolerate intelligently written characters. I mean, the audience for My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is preteen girls, yet look at the huge adult fandom that show has gained based around intelligently written characters. And kids like it too. Kids are enjoying it, and the adults have something fun to watch too. So that show is pretty much my perfect example of like everything Thomas is doing wrong that they could be doing so much better. It's not a matter of railway realism. It's not a matter of being as close to the Railway series books as possible. I mean, I respect those who believe that the Railway series is the be-all and end-all of Thomas, and the TV series needs to emulate it as much as possible. That's a perfectly valid viewpoint. But I'm of the opinion that you can forego a little bit of the Railway realism if you have intelligently written characters in entertaining plots. I didn't see the big problem. Like, I know the Reverend W. Audrey had a big problem with Henry's Forest because there was some obscure train tracks are too close to the trees law that it broke. But I don't think that's a problem if the storyline is good and the characters are well written. And for me, at least, that episode fulfilled those qualities, so I didn't have a problem with the Railway thing. Now, I've gotten completely off base with the question. What did they mess up Skarloey's person? For whatever the reason, let's do a quick little character analysis here. Skarloey was in the Railway series. It's been so long since I've read the books. I have them on my shelf and everything, but I just haven't reread them like I've been meaning to. If I recall, Skarloey is over 100 years old when the books were written. He's kind of one of the two resident wise old men of the Skarloey Railway, and along with Rheneas, and they're kind of voices of reason. And in recent seasons, I mean, that Skarloey characterization was pretty much withheld throughout most of the non-hit seasons. But then you get to season 9 when was it season 9, I think, when Skarloey reappears, and he and Rheneas are written as immature children, especially in comparison to everyone else on the Skarloey Railway. But I mean, I can't begin to fathom why exactly, but I think that the main reason is that Hit honestly believes that they need to appeal to as young children as possible, and there's a need apparently to make the characters complete idiots in order to achieve this. I mean, there's not a single intelligently written character on the show, with the possible exception of the Fat Controller, who is always written semi-competently, even if he makes dubious decisions every once in a while. He's always written as a voice of reason, and he is, in that sense, the one constant of the current Thomas dork age. But I think that, and Edward, I'm not as familiar with his recent characterization. Simon did a really good. Simon, the guy who does the British Railway series. I forget his YouTube name, but he did a very good analysis of Edward's character when he was reviewing season 15. When he reviewed like Edward the Hero or whatever that episode was called. So I'd recommend checking that out if you want to hear some more about Edward and his progressive character development / derailment. Derailment. And Diesel 10, I kind of went on, I talked about a little bit earlier, but his main problem is that there's nothing to back up the hype. He has had perhaps the most inconsistent characterization out of every character in Thomas and Friends. I mean, he appears in Thomas and the Magic Railroad as a cackling, maniacal mastermind. And he's in Calling All Engines. He's a little scary, but he's nice. And he appears at the end of Misty Island Rescue, and he is genuinely menacing. And then he appears in Day of the Diesels as a cackling buffoon who supposedly had some kind of grand plan that he was working towards, but in reality, it makes absolutely no sense. It's a very poorly played Xanatos roulette. A Xanatos roulette is a plan where like somebody achieves their objectives, but only after a very precise series of coincidences go into effect. So again, I believe this is again. Hey, Simon again. He wrote a recent review of Day of the Diesels, where he analyzed the complex and generally not making sense plan of Diesel 10. So I'd recommend checking those out. That out again. I think it's on the Sith blog. But I think that answers the question. So what do we got here? Whose line is it anyway? It's Colin Mockery's line. It's Colin Mockery's line. That's pretty much a given. Do you think I look fat in this dress? Be honest, because if not, my girlfriend will think I'm a fat pig. My girlfriends will think I'm a fat pig. There is no way to answer this question and escape without a black eye. So I'm going to pretend to be blind and say, I can't answer this question. What's next? Do you know any good Italian restaurants in my area? I don't think I should be discussing your area, simply because this is a PG program. I kid. Maybe there's some Italian restaurant locator website that you can find. I know of at least 5 good Italian restaurants in the place in my city of origin, but I can't really answer it for you again. I do like your creativity in question asking, by the way, however you pronounce your username. But yeah, I can't answer that without more information, which I'm not going to ask for because that would be creepy. But that's how I feel. Do you believe that a steam engine can run on dry ice? I don't think so. I don't think that's how they work. Yeah, because dry ice, it doesn't make steam. It looks like steam, but I'm pretty sure it's not. I think it's just like the chemical reaction that's created when the dry ice is dropped in water. Is that steam? I'm having flashbacks now to an MST, no, not a Rifftrains short that they did entitled Grass, which talks about grass, not marijuana grass, but like grass that grows in the ground. And at one point they start asking, "Is corn grass?" And so it leads to the riffers just generally kind of breaking down mentally and asking themselves, "Is corn grass?" And so yeah, is dry ice vapor steam? I've been waiting for this one. Dear Rifftrains, have you watched the live-action Thomas movie, Magic Railroad? If yes, did you like it? P.S. Did you know there is a new live-action Thomas in the making? Yes, I love Magic Railroad. I love it for all the wrong reasons, but I love it. It's you know, every week I meet up with a friend of mine and we watch movies. This was the movie that we watched this last time, or actually we didn't. Well, I'm misremembering. We didn't watch it. I just brought it along in hopes that we could watch it, and he's open to the idea, so maybe we'll watch it at a future date. But Magic Railroad is the very epitome of so bad it's good. And it does have some genuinely moving moments, and the various accounts of what the movie would have been like had it not been mangled in the editing room are actually kind of cool. But as it stands, it's not a great film, but it's at least a fun one. And yes, I do know there is a new live-action Thomas in the making, and I don't think it is live-action, actually. I think it... actually, it might be live-action. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's CGI, but it's just theatrical. But I do know about that, and since there's only a single image released currently to describe that, I can't really discuss that much more. Yay, question time. What are your 3 all-time favorite superheroes from any comic anywhere? And if those 3 superheroes were to fight one another, who would win? Alright, Green Lantern, and by Green Lantern I mean Guy Gardner, well known as the Green Lantern who was also kind of a jackass, but really a nice guy deep down. Yeah, Guy Gardner. Let me look at my shelf for a minute. Ambush Bug. Ambush Bug is a fourth wall breaking DC character who kind of exists on the fringes of continuity, and I guess probably Booster Gold. Booster Gold is a for those of you who don't know, he appeared on Batman the Brave and the Bold. He's a guy from the future who stole a bunch of equipment from a museum and came back to be a superhero and try to make a new life in the past. And he's kind of a glory hound, but he eventually develops into somebody who has the best interests of the world at heart instead of just trying to get rich quick. And if those 3 characters had to fight, I think Guy Gardner would win. He has the most raw power at his disposal. Although, I don't know if... I think Guy Gardner would win there. He's been at it longer than the other guys. And Ambush Bug is more of a comedy character, so he wouldn't be as much good in a fight. Although he can teleport. And Booster... Without his security droid Skeets, he could probably put up a decent fight, but I think Gardner would win in the end. And I think that's how that would turn out. If you could create a character or a location for the Thomas and Friends show, what would you create? Wow, that requires thought. I may edit this in order to dispose of the lengthy thinking sequence that is about to ensue. Or maybe I wouldn't. That's kind of an interesting question, because if any Thomas fan was asked to create a character, how could I create a character that would would not cover ground that has already been covered? That's kind of the integral question that one has to ask themselves when when creating a new character to add to something. I don't know if I can give you specifics. I don't want to go the easy route and say, oh, I'll create a new engine named Andrew, who's pretty much exactly like me, because that's kind of a shameful route to take. I'm going to skip this until later when I've had a better chance to think about it. And if I don't answer it by the end of this video, I will think about it more and answer it via PM to whoever it was who posed this question. Whose name doesn't appear to be listed after the question. But I'll look at the comments on the video again and I'll figure it out. Where did you find your Sid Rabbit puppet? I found it at a store called Wits End, which is it's like a gift store, and they have a selection of Folk Madness puppets there. And I went up, like I was just kind of walking around there because I was there with my dad and my sister to buy my mom a Christmas present, and we walked through that section, and I noticed, hey, that looks like, or I think I saw like a different puppet that Craig Ferguson has used on his show before, and I thought, hey, that kind of looks like one of Craig's puppets. And then I looked around and I thought, I wonder. And I looked and I saw that, hey, they have the Sid, the cussing rabbit. And I thought, I think I need to buy this. And I did. So that worked out quite well. And last but not least from that person is, how do you feel about the passing of Steve Jobs? I personally can't believe it's happened, but then again, I'm still in denial over George Carlin. I'm saddened because the guy revolutionized the computer industry and the music industry, or the music storage industry, and he was a great man. That's really all there is to say. And the world is worse without him. I never was a huge devoted follower, but I mean, death is always a tragic thing, no matter who it is that dies. And my condolences go out to his family. That's really all I have to say there. Excuse me. When you first saw Diesel or any of the already introduced characters in the CGI series, what kind of voice did you expect for him? And what is your opinion about the voice he has now for the UK or US? I skipped a question. I'll go back to that one. But let's use Diesel for an example here. I kind of his voice for when I saw Diesel, I think that I kind of expected him to have a voice along the lines of what he had already had. And I wasn't really disappointed there, because in both the UK and the US, or more in the US, he has Michael Brandon's voice. Michael Brandon, who I used to vehemently hate, but now I'm kind of indifferent towards. And although when doing Rifftrains and such, I exaggerate my hatred for him for comedy's sake. And the UK has a pretty entertaining Diesel voice, all things considered. He, I think one of the few high points of Fiery Flynn was that he gives a pretty good performance as Diesel. I don't remember the actor's name, but he does a good job. Little yes, and various little additions to his role there that work well. I know that is there any character I didn't like Rosie's voice that much. Of course, I didn't really know what to expect with Rosie because I had very minimal exposure to the character before seeing her in CGI. As I've said in the past, I stopped watching Thomas around Season 9 and started watching again around Season 15. or started watching regularly again around season 15 because I heard how bad it got and I wanted to see how bad it really was, and it did not disappoint. But I went back and watched a little of the earlier CGI stuff, and while the CGI itself is great, the voice acting for the most part is pretty great. The stories are still pretty crappy. And Rosie's voice just didn't really... In the US version, let me clarify, I haven't heard her British voice. The US version, Rosie's voice didn't seem to fit very well, though. Next question, or rather, the question that was before the last question, the one that I skipped. Last Q&A, you said your favorite fizzy beverage was Diet Coke. I want to know what goes best with a Diet Coke to me, and if I also have tried that Diet Coke Mentos fountain before. I have, and it left a brown stain on my ceiling. Okay, my favorite fizzy beverage is Diet Coke, even though I'm not drinking it right now. And, what does go best with Diet Coke? Well, I'm a big bread aficionado. I mean, I go to a farmer's market every Friday in order to get bread, because I eat so much of it. So, bread, in my opinion, goes good with anything, and Diet Coke is no exception. So for now, I'm going to say bread. Although, I don't know, I think I had a Diet Coke the other day with a muffin, and that was okay. I went to Dunkin' Donuts and got a pumpkin spice muffin, which was really good. So that went pretty well with the Diet Coke. I just noticed it's the video's around the 30-minute mark now, and I do recall saying that this is going to be a shorter Q&A than usual. So, haha, irony. I guess I found stuff to talk about. And I've never tried the Diet Coke Mentos fountain, mainly because I don't really eat Mentos, and I haven't really gone out of my way to procure any. So, I'd like to try it at some point, but because I saw the Mythbusters episode that they devoted to the Diet Coke Mentos experiment, and that was pretty cool. I'd like to see what I could do with it, but I haven't done it yet. And given that I'm living in a brand new place, I probably won't be doing it anytime soon. All right. All right, I got two more questions. A couple people asked Don Handel and Boss Rheneas questions in here. So I guess I'm not going to... I guess I'll just count them towards their respective question totals, and I won't answer them here. We've got two questions left otherwise. How do you think the Fat Controller is able to purchase so many engines? Drugs. He sells drugs. That is the only possible explanation. Either that or he is heavily involved in other illicit activities. Yeah, drugs make the most sense, though. The Fat Controller is a notorious dope fiend, and I don't know. That's a ridiculously fun word to say, dope fiend. I was in a production of the Pajama Game several years back, and they had to edit one of the songs because it was a high school show, and we had a principal who was kind of a little bit of a stickler with that sort of thing, and they made us remove the line, "More than a dope fiend loves his dope," which I always regretted because that was just it just flowed so nicely, such a great line. So that's how I think the Fat Controller affords so many engines. It's because he is heavily involved in illegal activities that net him billions of dollars, or no, not billions, millions of dollars. However much steam engines cost, typically, millions of dollars a year. So, by that account, the island of Sodor should be some kind of huge area of trade and commerce, but I guess, it does, after all, only appear on February 29th every 4 years. So, it's a little bit from WTL Network's extended Thomas chronology. on his wiki that I've since taken as canon. Yeah, it's the only time the island of Sodor is accessible is on February 29th. So if you go on February 29th and a day passes, yeah, you're stuck there for 4 years. So too bad. And I think that's the reason why the island of Sodor isn't some kind of huge trade center in the world. You know, and also the fact that it doesn't actually exist. But what are you gonna do? And finally, who are your 3 favorite villains? Not just from Thomas, but from any piece of literature, movie, whatever. And this is a fun question. Okay, I really enjoy. This is gonna take me a minute. I might edit out some thinking here. Alright, I'm back. I've decided on my 3 favorite villains. The first is Sinestro, the archenemy to Green Lantern. Sinestro is kind of a cool character in that he was a Green Lantern and he went bad, essentially. He decided that the only way to preserve order in his space sector was to take dictatorial control of his home planet. And as a result, he was kicked out of the Green Lantern Corps and became their greatest enemy. Sinestro is kind of cool because he's kind of an inverse to... He plays off well with Hal Jordan, the main Green Lantern. Hal is kind of about... I think I'm stealing this quote from Jeff Johns, who is the primary Green Lantern writer at work in the comics right now. But Hal Jordan is kind of brash and cocky, and Sinestro is all about order, and there is kind of a yin-yang relationship there that is actually currently being played out in the comics, and just that kind of dynamic interests me. Plus, that it's just kind of a cool dynamic. My second favorite, and this isn't in any particular order, this is just the top 3 I've thought of, Soundwave from the Transformers. And Soundwave is, and I'm counting as Soundwave here, I'm counting all of his various incarnations. Because there's been a Generation 1 Soundwave, there's been a Transformers Cybertron Soundwave, there was one in Transformers Animated, and there was one in Transformers Prime. I guess my favorite Soundwave is a kind of a tie between Generation 1 I like Transformers Prime Soundwave the best so far. Any of you who have watched the Transformers Prime season finale will know exactly why I love Soundwave so much. But spoiler alert for any of you who are following the show and have not yet gotten to that point. But it's brought up in the season finale of Transformers Prime that Soundwave was Megatron, the leader of the Decepticons. He was Megatron's earliest and most loyal supporter. So later on, after a bizarre series of circumstances, Megatron has seemingly abandoned the Decepticons. He has left Arachnid, a relatively new, or not relatively newcomer. She's basically, she's pure evil. Let's just say that. She's like an evil spider-themed robot. He's left her in charge, and she decides that it's perhaps time to abandon Megatron and go off to some other planet to pursue Decepticon interests. Soundwave turns around. Soundwave in Transformers Prime does not speak for the most part. He has the ability to speak, but he has as of yet not really found anything worth saying. He's more or less stopped speaking with his own voice since he came to Earth. So Soundwave, he turns around from the communications desk and just stares down Arachnid. So they have a little face-off. Soundwave effortlessly takes down Arachnid. without saying a word, and from then and they stay and they wait for Megatron. It's a really cool character moment, and it's Soundwave is all about loyalty, and he also in Generation One he had a group of minions called the they didn't have an official name, like mini cassettes, but they were just kind of made of cool. Like there was one that was like a robot panther, and there was a robot condor named Laserbeak, and a robot bat. Um, but yeah, Soundwave is just kind of cool. Um, and my third favorite villain, and this is solely based on the fact that he is so entertaining, is Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. Um, and I think any of you who've seen Phineas and Ferb know exactly why I'm referring to Doofenshmirtz in such a manner. He's just such an entertaining character. Um, he is hammy, he is petty, and he's as stereotypically evil as you get, and just such an entertaining character to watch. Plus, he gets some of the best songs on the show as well. So those are my three favorite villains, and that list is subject to change. And I love villainous characters. So, I mean, I have a playlist on my iPod that I've compiled of every single villain song I've come across. It numbers around 65 songs right at the moment, from TV, from movies, and from theater.